up, all my fight fans? So we had some interesting news that recently developed, and we had fallout for UFC 288, which is May 6th, I believe. It is Charles Oliveira versus Beneil Dariush. Unfortunately, Charles Oliveira has an undisclosed injury that he is going to be out of that fight. But they say that they're going to replace that fight. Well, not replace that fight. They're going to reschedule that fight for a later date. They're thinking June 10th, which is what, UFC 289, I want to say. So they're telling Beneil to, hold off, and you will get the scheduled bout. On a recent interview, Beneil had recently did an interview with Submission Radio, I believe it was, and that he had mentioned that if this fight does not take place, that he will now be the number one contender. So my question to you guys: does he deserve that? Absolutely, 100% yes. That's my personal opinion, yes. But Beneil Dariush definitely deserves to be the number one contender. Right now, there's other number one contenders out there. Right now, there's other challengers out there. Of course, you have Justin Gaethje, who just returned against, I believe it was Gamrot, I want to say. And, or, yeah, something like that. Or Fiziev. No, excuse me, Fiziev. He returned against Fiziev back in March, and he had one hell of a fight. It was a really good fight. I believe it was under that Leon Edwards card against Kamaru Usman. And it was a very fun fight, but, Justin Gaethje returned and he did his thing and he got the victory. You got Dustin Poirier, who has not fought since he fought Michael Chandler back in December, I want to say. Back in December or maybe November, around that time frame. So those two are probably scheduled to fight one another, honestly, because those two are booked up. But at the moment, right now, Islam Makhachev does not have an opponent. Right now, they look like he's going to be facing, not facing nobody, but he's not going to be doing anything until Abu Dhabi, which usually is in October. So it looks like we're not going to see Islam do anything until fall. So that is actually very, I want to say, it's good and bad because one, I do believe Beneil Dariush deserves a title shot, but I also believe Beneil Dariush wants to fight. Now, Beneil Dariush has not fought since he last October against Gamrot, in which he won very handily. So I'm sure he's very, very itching and determined to get a fight, no problem. But right now, with Charles Oliveira being on the outs and really unsure, because in this interview he also mentioned that he doesn't have a contract just yet. He doesn't have a contract stating that this is 100% fact. This is 100% going down. It's pretty much being said to the UFC, to him, that yes, it is going down, but at the moment it's no guarantees. So there's a lot to unpack here. There's a lot to really dissect, and there's a lot to really go into. Of course, we know Charles Oliveira, one hell of a champion. He beat Michael Chandler, he beat Dustin Poirier, he beat Justin Gaethje, and he's a very, very, very fun fighter. But he did lose to Islam Makhachev back in October. Islam did get a fight with Volkanovski in a very back and forth war, a very entertaining fight. I very much loved that fight. But, Islam still ended up getting the victory. So he looks like he's not going to be fighting until, of course, like we mentioned, Abu Dhabi. But with that being said, Beneil Dariush is now out of an opponent and more likely going to be fighting Charles June 10th. If not, then he is not going to be fighting until October, whenever that fight is going to be officially announced. So, yes, he definitely deserves it, but it's going to be a real big test for Beneil because of the fact that he has not fought in over a year. It does give him time to train. It does give him time to practice because, he's going against the one half of the number one pound for pound in the world, Islam Makhachev. Islam Makhachev is no punk. Islam Makhachev is not someone that you want to overlook or undertrain for. Maybe not overtrain for. You don't want to overtrain either. But Islam Makhachev is very, very tough task, so maybe Beneil could take advantage if Charles Oliveira definitely does fall out. I am very much looking forward to that fight as well because that should be a very fun fight. Charles Oliveira versus Beneil Dariush. You got one of the best submission artists in the world, and you got a world grappling champion in Beneil Dariush, and you got Charles Oliveira, and you got both strikers. I mean, I feel like Charles Oliveira has a better striking advantage, but you never know what might happen in the MMA world. So we definitely got to see what's going to happen as we continue to get closer, see what happens if it gets announced, or what's going to go and what's going to take place. So we don't know, guys, but right now what we do know is what Beneil has told us, and what Beneil has told us is that he is going to be the number one contender if this fight does not come into fruition with Charles Oliveira. So, guys, definitely I feel he deserves it, but let me know in the comments, do you think he doesn't? Do you think it should be someone else? Do you think it should be Justin Gaethje or Dustin Poirier? Let me know in the comments, guys. Like, subscribe, hit that notification button, and I'll see you guys in the next video.